In Exodus chapter 32, verse 1, Exodus chapter 32, verse 1 following, you need to read the rest. I'll just read the first verse of Exodus chapter 32. Now, when the people saw that Moses delayed coming down from the mountain, the people gathered together to Aaron and said to him, "Come, make us gods that shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." The old King James says, they said to him, "Up," which means he probably was sitting, or he was reclined, or sleeping, or whatever. But they got him up. And when they got him up to make for them a god. This is a classical situation where the leader is being led by the led. And that is not supposed to be. If you are a leader anointed by God for that purpose, you are the one to direct the people in the course that they should be going. And for Aaron, however, unfortunately, this was somebody who had seen God. And yet people came to him and told him, "Get up and make us a god." And he went ahead and made them a god. And you'll be wondering, to what purpose was all the sitting down on the mountain and eating and seeing God? I think you probably find that in Exodus chapter 24, where they sat at a meal with God and they ate and they saw God. And then he now comes and they say, make us a god. And he goes and makes for them a gold calf, something they were familiar with in Egypt. And you begin to wonder, how do you reconcile Aaron's making of the gold calf and what Aaron saw? Did Aaron see a gold calf? So this is a classical problem, a situation of somebody who is just sitting idly, doing nothing, meditating on nothing. There is nothing wrong in sitting. If your sitting down is for the purpose of meditation, is for the purpose of counting the cost of Christianity. In Psalm 1 verse 2, the Bible talked about the people whose delight is in studying the word of God and meditating there by day and night. In Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, the Bible encourages us. It says, "This book of the law shall not depart from out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein." There is a purpose to sitting down and meditating. It is to be able to apply yourself to the word of God. But sitting down for the sake of sitting down and not meditating on anything is going to get you into the kind of situation that we find Aaron in, where Satan found work for him because he was sitting idly. He was not meditating on the word of God. He was not meditating on the things of God. So there's a sitting at the feet of Jesus where we learn so that we can go ahead and serve and live. And there's a sitting idly where Satan finds work for us. God forbid. There's also a sitting at the feet of Jesus that has a negative impact, which is the one of ever learning and never being able to come to the knowledge of truth, never being free from sin and its stranglehold. Then there's the sitting that is not idle, sitting in meditation, sitting in counting the cost. The Bible tells us, I think is in Luke chapter 14 or so, between 25 and 33 or so, it talks about sitting it says, "Who is it that will not first sit down and count the cost?" There's a sitting that is good in that meditation. You sit down to count the cost of your serving the Lord. And there's nothing wrong with that.